a lot of empathic people that I've come across, including my former self, have a strong resistance to their own God-given sensitivity. Why am I so sensitive? Why do I feel and sometimes even absorb other people's bad moods and energies? Well, in this video, my friends, I'm going to share with you how what can seem like an inconvenience or a problem, is actually your greatest gift. Your sensitivity, I proclaim here, is a major, major blessing. And it can help you transform, transmute, elevate, upgrade, improve every single area of your life. Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today's video, as I mentioned, is going to be, in a sense, me selling you on your own sensitivity. But first, before I do that, I want to let you know that I completely understand where you are, for I have been there myself. And I know a lot of the empathic people, the highly sensitive people around the world right now are feeling maybe even extra sensitive. And unfortunately, that extra sensitivity is paired with all the global problems we're experiencing that you feel. You can't just bury your head in the sand and pretend it's not there. You can, but your body will feel all the energy anyway, the people suffering, people concerned, people wondering what's going to become of this world we live in. And you can feel it. And I know there's a lot of reasons where you can make a case for saying, this stinks. The sensitivity is no good. Man, my life would be a heck of a lot easier if I was more numb to things, if I could tune out of things. But a lot of you just can't. And I wasn't able to either. You know, I was sensitive most of my life, and I'm sure a lot of you were as well. Growing up, I had a lot of anxiety. I felt very hyper aware of other people's moods and energies and opinions of me, attitudes towards myself and life. And it was very confusing to kind of keeping track of all of that. It made me not really own my own frame. I was sort of sucked in to other people's frames. And I went through a lot of my life like that, and through high school even. I just had a lot of anxiety. I was just one of those guys that would, when it was time to, read in front of the class or something like that, or get up in front of the class, my face would turn beet red because I just felt so overwhelmed by emotion, like my own emotion, others' emotions. And it was so hard to stay clear and focused because it was such a distraction, all those energies. And then in my early 20s, I had what people call a kundalini awakening, a spiritual awakening, right? And that took my already hypersensitivity level and exponentialized it. It increased it probably by 4 or 5 times. I found myself so sensitive that I couldn't even manage my own life. Normal everyday tasks became exhausting and stressful and confusing, such as going to the grocery store. I was a personal trainer at the time, and I had to deal with people and talk to people. That was just it was a trip. There were so many different sort of issues and complications due to my sensitivity. And man, at that point in my life, it was like that for a few years for me. And at that point in my life, I would have done absolutely anything if someone could have alleviated my anxiety. In fact, years before that, believe it or not, I found something that did alleviate it, and it was heroin. I was a drug addict from 19 to 20, 21 years old, and it was very hard for me to quit because it worked. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Obviously, it's not, but it took my anxiety away, and I was so desperate to have that happen that I was willing to ruin my life for a time period. Thank God I got out of that, and I've been clean 15, 20 years now. But my point is, I know what it's like to feel that way. But anyway, eventually I had that spiritual awakening, as I mentioned, and I became really sensitive and all that. But beyond that, I found that it I wouldn't say it went away. It never has gone away. It never tapered off, but I became better at managing it. I became less resistant to it. And once I stopped wishing I was some other way, wishing I was wired some other way, and feeling frustration every time I felt nervous or insecure or just hyper aware of my own emotions or other people's emotions, I stopped resisting. And once at the rate I stopped resisting was the same rough pace that I became aware that, there are other things that come along with this sensitivity. And these other things are highly, highly beneficial. I started to turn my sensitivity inward, where for the longest time it was just projected outward, or if anything, resistant to it. But I started to kind of use all that sort of my wide open lens of perception and tune it in on myself. And what I noticed is, oh my goodness, there's a lot going on inside of Victor, and a lot of it's not good. A lot of it's false beliefs. And I can look within myself and say, oh my God, I've been going through life, as an example, with this premise that I just sort of absorbed from my mother when I was like 4 years old. And it's been, in a sense, ruling my life. And my sensitivity allowed me to see that. And once I see it, once I'm aware of my inner workings, my inner climate, then I can make some changes. Then I can decide for myself, well, what do I actually believe now in my 20s, 30s? Well, it's not what I used to believe. It doesn't make my old beliefs that I've been lugging around, that have been influencing my life, my thinking, my sense of self, my perception of reality, are very, very outdated. They're the conclusions drawn from a 4 or 5 year old kid who doesn't know anything. And I've been living from that premise. Not anymore. My sensitivity has allowed me to direct my focus inward and see that. I can also see within myself, and all these things I'm saying about me, you could do it too, where there are trapped emotions. I can see there are unresolved, unexpressed emotions in my physical body, in my energy system that are there. And now that I'm aware of that, there's something I can do about that. I can heal it. I can release it. At the very least, I can stop allowing those emotions to dictate my life and choices. My sensitivity has also allowed me to really become aware of what in my environment, what in my life, people, things I do and am engaged with, career directions, all of that. I could tell what resonates, what is actually rings true with me and what does not ring true with me. And even though this can be kind of a lot on your plate when this starts to happen, but through my sensitivity, through this awareness of what resonates and what does not, I've been able to make some major adjustments in my life. And pretty much I've chosen to adjust most everything in my life. Where I live, the people in my life, what I put my focus and energy into, my career. And out of several years sort of adjustment period, I've made my life more ideal for me, more of a reflection of my true preferences, my actual authenticity, which my sensitivity allows me to see. Beyond that, my sensitivities allowed me to see the pain in other people, the challenges, the deeper rooted core reasons why people do what they do. I can see a bad or annoying or a belligerent person. They're not just bad people. They're just people who are driven by their unconsciousness that I can kind of see sometimes, and so can you. And that's allowed me to be a really effective coach. It's allowed me to be a better husband, a better father, a better friend, a better son, a better brother, a better human being, more compassionate, more patient, more tolerant, more in tune with my truth, more in tune with my authenticity, more in tune and in alignment with my actual life purpose. Turns out in the end, this dreaded, this resisted sensitivity has allowed me to transform every area of my life. And I believe it will do the same thing for you as well. And I know right now you might be in it. You might be really like dealing with some of the challenging aspects of this reorientation and expansion of your consciousness. But hopefully me just sharing my little tale here can give you hope and maybe even allow you to look at your sensitivity in a new way. If you're an empath and you enjoyed this video, then I think you might like one of my other videos. It's called 10 Empath Superpowers. It's where I share with you the different ways that you can use your sensitivity to your advantage in a more sort of specific way. And I think a lot of them will actually surprise you. They might be some talents, some hidden abilities maybe you didn't even know you had.